It dominated that Magic Online Pioneer Challenge yesterday with both decks in the finals being Rakdos Vampires. So it's the real deal. And
highest win rate in Pioneer at this tournament as well so far.
You can't imagine it being poor against the most popular deck in the tournament. So it's going up against Izzet Phoenix now.
All right, what's heading into the air? Birds or vampires? Marshall and Monty have the call here for round number 13. I'll send it over to you.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, we do. We have the call, and we've got players that know what they like to play, Monty. There's a little bit of a continuation here between Limited and Constructed for these two.
Yeah, we saw Sam have a Vein Ripper in draft, 3-0, Vein Ripper in Constructed, doing well. Adam, we saw those 3 Gear Drakes in draft, blue-red to 3-0. Now, Izzet Phoenix in draft, some little flying blue-red creatures. So
I see the through line here.
There's a bit of a trend sticking with what you know, and it's working out for these players.
That's right. You know, there is style in Magic, and you see that expressed here. Now, as it turns out, Adam and Sam have a winning style today. They're both 4-0, 3-0 their draft, and then picked up the victory in their first round of Constructed. So as they sit down, getting ready to play against each other, Adam's sitting on an 11-1 record, where Sam is on a 10-2 record overall. But this is starting to get very close to top 8 territory for these players, particularly for Adam, who, with a victory here, will secure it.
Yeah, this is the win and in for him. Sam, an extra win away. He's only a 10-2 right now. And notably, you know, Cedric said most played deck, you would think they're good, but one of Sam's losses on day one was draft. The other one was to Izzet Phoenix.
Oh, interesting.
So Sam is 0-1 in the matchup right now, though, of course, you would think getting a Vein Ripper down good in the matchup. One of the things that we did see in Adam's build of Phoenix, 3 copies of Lightning Axe and a Brazen Borrower. So Vein Ripper resolving isn't the GG that we're normally used to out of some other matchups. So there definitely could be some play here that we're not expecting that would push things in Adam's favor a bit.
Let's see if that ends up being what happens here. If so,
Go ahead.
Adam will be our first top 8 competitor, and he'll be done. It's kind of sweet, actually. You know, you get the rest of the day off, and I mean, there is something to be said for, you know, a little testing, a little resting, leading up to a big top 8 Sunday. There's a lot of tension, and as much preparation as you can possibly get will be great. Wow, look at that Spell Pierce for the Sorin there, Monty.
Yeah, only 2 copies of that in the main deck, so obviously Sam in his position going for it, and Sorin, even though it is a vampire-based Planeswalker, isn't a vampire, so Cavern of Souls not helping you in that spot, so it does get countered, but for Sam, he does have to go for it. And as you mentioned, Adam, pretty sweet. This is his first Pro Tour, I believe, and despite Cedric's pretty terrible singing, he did work by himself here. When we asked how he prepared for this event, the answer was just MTGO. So he worked by himself. He ended up bringing the most played deck in the field, as you sort of tend to do when you're working on your own, is you default to safe things rather than having the team around you to bring vampires. That's not really something that you see individual players doing too often and succeeding with.
Man, poor Cedric. Terribly accurate singing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. You want to join him? Go ahead.
No.
Spit some bars here.
No.
No? You're good?
Not my area of expertise.
Okay.
I'll be a backup dancer for Cedric, but
okay, perfect.
I'm not singing.
You want to join the mites on the break screen?
Sure. Saw Ledger Shredder there from Edelson, followed immediately by an opt, so he gets the trigger. Although you'll be glad he did, because that thing was not long for this world. Lots of removal from the Vampires deck means that cards like Ledger Shredder are not going to stick around very long, and Adam's smart to try to get that valuable trigger out of it before it's dead.
Yeah, the removal from the Rakdos decks can sometimes be awkward against Phoenix just because you really don't want to be removing an Arclight Phoenix, but Ledger Shredder is a perfect target for it, and Sam, of course, using the removal, so the Thoughtseize is the second spell, doesn't give Adam a bonus trigger. The Thoughtseize looks at a bunch of options, the Trespass Scary, the Lightning Axe, and answer for a Vein Ripper, but of course, the big thing that Sam is aware of right now, no creature on Adam's side to pay that ward cost on the Vein Ripper of sacrificing a creature, and that is the Saving Grace. Right now, Sam thinking about using this blood token because he's missing land drops. He would have loved to be able to go Fatal Push Fable this turn, but that wasn't in the cards, and he needs to be making land drops in this spot.
Vein Ripper hits the graveyard. Edelson, no board currently, but the graveyard's getting some progress. There's an opt.
Yeah, great thing for Sam right now. No Phoenixes in the graveyard, no Treasure Cruises in hand as of the last time I got a look.
But as we know, this deck just, or excuse me, this archetype just rips through the library.
Yeah, absolutely. Just sees a ton of cards. There's a Free the Fae, I believe, or there was before the Thoughtseize took it, and that's probably the reason why from Sam taking the Picklock Prankster, denying the Free the Fae, is you just do not want Phoenix to find this card.
Right there, and there it is. The Treasure Cruise finally appears after a few more ops and considers.
Look, try as you may, it's really hard to keep Phoenix from finding this card. And when they do, life gets a lot harder, because if they find Arclight Phoenixes, they have plenty of ways to get them in the graveyard.
Okay.
And there's going to be a Free the Fae now from Edelson, and there's a Phoenix.
You've got 2 in hand.
Yeah, the beauty of Free the Fae replacing pieces of the puzzle in this deck is really just not only the instant speed ability, so you're never tapping out, but also being a whole 1 mana cheaper to cast this side means that after you've done a decent number of things, you're able to do this, and we have to say this is the 3rd spell this turn. Treasure Cruise started with an opt. This Phoenix going in the yard is actually coming back right into the battlefield.
Impressive. And it's just going to sit back, it looks like. Down to 12 is Adam. So he's going to be a little defensive. And once again, Sam Pardee trying to get things moving forward. He's going to play Fable of the Mirror Breaker.
I think it might be too late for Sam. Yes, Adam is a 12, but there's a Lightning Axe in hand. That's the answer to Sam's best card, which is Vein Ripper. And outside of that, Adam has already another Treasure Cruise in hand. Just found another Phoenix, I believe, but also has access to Temporal Trespass. So Sam's at 16, but when Adam turns the corner, the game's just going to end. It's going to be very quick, and until that point, he can afford to play defensively as we saw the previous turn, opting to save his life total, not allowing Sam to get another free 3 points of damage in with that Vampire.
Okay, well, we do see the Lightning Axe used on Goblin Shaman this time.
That's nice because Adam knows that without that Shaman, Sam guaranteed doesn't have a Vein Ripper next turn unless there's a Sorin. Because Sam is only at 4 lands, that Shaman was what was going to provide a treasure token to do it. And getting the second Phoenix in the yard means that now you have a sizable clock, because when Adam plays another card, another spell this turn, Phoenix will come back. They'll be able to attack for 6 if Adam wants, depending on how safe he wants to play it. And then next turn, Trespass will just end the game over the course of 2 turns worth of attacks. And Sam can attack for 3 when Adam is going to end the game the next turn. There's nothing that Sam can really do about that.
And if you look at Sam in the picture there, like kind of, he's expressing the there's nothing I can do at this point kind of vibes.
Yeah.
He just gets to watch Adam play it out.
Second Treasure Cruise, that's the 3rd spell for the turn. So now Arclight Phoenix can come back. In Sam's hand, Creature of the Schism plus Vein Ripper. Those aren't doing anything. This Fable will give him 2 new cards to look at plus the draw for the turn. But really, I think Sam is on Sorin or bust at this point.
Adam passes the turn back. He is tapped out, so the Sorin thing would work.
Blood Crypt and Creature to draw 2. Yep.
And it's got to be kind of both of those things. I guess he did have 1 extra card.
I saw a Thoughtseize that can deal with the Trespass
and
at least.
And a Fable was one of the cards drawn as well.
Yeah.
Treasure Cruise is cool.
Treasure Cruise is really cool.
Look at that loaded up hand.
And Adam even had the Iteration Trespass combo, though, of course, with the Delve for the Treasure Cruise being paid, pretty far away from having the mana to do both of that, let alone just the Trespass. So this is actually a relatively harmless hand from Adam once Sam takes that Temporal Trespass
so you have
now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is that right?
With an Iteration,
correct. 3 lands.
Adam has a lot of good draws that he can find here, but that is pretty decent, and I love this attack from Sam because looking at Adam's hand, Adam doesn't have the spells to easily bring back a Phoenix. If he draws a 1 mana cantrip, he can go Iteration, Flashback Iteration, and then the 1 mana cantrip, but that'll take the whole board, and Sam now has 2 Fables available.
Okay. We got a game.
We definitely have a game thanks to that Thoughtseize. And Adam's hand being a little too land heavy.
See the 2 copies of Arc-like Phoenix already on the battlefield, none in the yard.
I think a 4th land was just drawn for Adam. So hand is 4 lands plus a Galvanic Iteration and a Ledger Shredder. None of those really getting the job done here, though he is putting Sam on a 1-turn clock if he attacks with both Phoenixes. He can go Ledger Shredder, play the Picklock Prankster as the 2nd spell for the turn.
Oh, sure.
That'll give him an extra draw. Not too many high-impact draws that he can utilize with 2 mana remaining, but at least he'll have some blockers, and a 2-turn clock is still a 2-turn clock. So
yeah.
Adam is definitely in the better position here. It's just that it's not hard to imagine if Sam just plays the Vein Ripper next turn, he could just win this game. He'll need a few things to go right.
Yeah, it does look like Adam's considering, okay, I got the Prankster, I'll have 2 speed bumps. At least.
I will pass turn after that.
Oh, never mind, he's going to pass the turn with 4 mana available.
And he doesn't have anything to do with that 4 mana as far as I saw, unless there's an Otawara in his hand.
Maybe that is what it is then, because otherwise you just would cast the Prankster to get the trigger and get a blocker otherwise, right?
Yeah, I don't... Unless Adam's forgotten that the Prankster is in the Adventure Zone, which I don't think is the case, maybe he's bluffing something. Unless I've seen his hand wrong and there's another copy of Free the Fae. That may be it. There may be another Prankster in his hand.
Okay.
So he could go Galvanic Iteration plus double Free the Fae on the end step, get a Ledger Shredder trigger, and just guarantee the win the next turn.
He has all of the things. Okay, let's see what happens.
Block the Fortive Harvester.
He's definitely planning on getting a counter on the
Yeah.
Shredder.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it must be, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you found it.
So I'll resolve the copy first. And Shredder trigger on the Free to Fae. So
He did say I'll
so
resolve the
Shredder
copy
trigger is
first.
First, correct. Sure. Or do I get to choose? Do I get to choose the order? I believe it's just the Shredder is first. Yeah, so it's resolve the Shredder.
The Shredder...
Resolve the Shredder.
I believe he has the choice because Iteration also goes on the stack, so he can stack those 2.
You're right, he does then.
And
at any rate, he got the counter, and now the Iteration, or
Yeah.
excuse me, the Free the Fae number 1 will go.
I think that Lightning Axe or that that command will both
Prismari
do
command
it.
or Lightning Alex is good enough.
Yeah.
And there's the other Spell Pierce as well.
Oof.
We saw one early in the game that was critical. I think Sam had the Vein Drinker in hand as well.
Sam's done.
And Sam's going to pack him up. And the old standby, Izzet Phoenix, is now 1 game away in the hands of Adam Edelson from a top 8.
It's really not surprising. The deck is just incredibly powerful when you're able to do your things. And I think that was one of the key things that we saw from Adam was just the patience of using his resources well. And once you get those treasure cruises rolling, they just don't stop. They go into each other.
Look at this, Leyline of the Void pre-game actions.
Leyline of the Void, great. It slows down a lot of what Adam is doing. We saw the majority of the damage that game come from Arclight Phoenixes that came back from the graveyard. One of the things typically that you see is a Phoenix doing against decks that are packing graveyard hate, like Leyline of the Void, is they have a transformational sideboard plan. So looking at Adam's sideboard, 2 copies of Young Pyromancer, 2 copies of Crackling Drake, 1 copy of Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I wouldn't be surprised to see all of these potentially come in as different ways to pressure despite a Leyline of the Void, and I think I actually saw one of those Young Pyromancers in the hand here from Adam.
There's another way to get around it here. Brazen Borrower, that's petty theft, going to be used to return it to hand. Now, Sam can recast it, but that's a big setback.
Yeah, and it's 4 mana for a non-creature spell, which I believe Adam has a Spell Pierce in hand, so that's a long way away of Sam being able to comfortably resolve that Leyline of the Void. And as long as it's not in play, well, Adam's putting Arclight Phoenixes in the graveyard. Leyline of the Void isn't like Rest in Peace when it comes onto the battlefield. It doesn't remove the graveyard that already exists.
Exactly.
So that's 1 Phoenix in the yard comfortably. And the Spell Pierce is up now. Now, unlike last game, in this position, Preacher, excellent card. Really powerful. Hard for... Yeah, you hear Adam saying, combat, unfortunately, because you really don't want this card being able to attack like this. The game can start snowballing.
That's right. An extra card in this case for Sam Pardee. He's got a stacked hand.
6 in hand.
Curious to see what he goes for this turn, though.
I think if Sam has access to the Kalidas in the sideboard that some of these players do.
He does. There it is.
He'd love to be playing that one this turn because it gets around Spell Pierce.
Definitely.
Really perfect card here. Only the one of in the sideboard. And Sam is really happy to have that one. You really don't want to be running out Fable or Leyline in that exact spot into 1 blue mana.
How good is Cletus in this matchup? Like, what's its role?
1 is just a creature. It's hard to answer. It doesn't get Spell Pierce. 2, Lifelink keeps your life total up. But also, it's that middle ability of non-token creatures dying, being exiled instead. Means that now, okay, Adam bounced the Leyline, got a Phoenix in the graveyard. Let's say he successfully gets that Phoenix back.
Yeah.
Sam can just Fatal Push it. It's gone. He gets a token, and it's just so much pressure.
Okay. Yeah, it looks really solid here.
I would like to declare attackers. Yeah. Trigger this. Yes. I go to 18 and draw a card.
Power of Preacher of the Schism, four of in this deck, by the way, or 3 of in Sam's specific build, is really on display here of just being a pretty cheap threat that gives over and over value over a span of time.
That's right. You see Thoughtseize now from Sam Pardee. This is a big Thoughtseize as well. Not only can he take something powerful, but knowing these particular cards that Adam has in hand is going to be really good. You see Prismari come in and that Spell Pierce as well. This is very valuable information from Pardee's perspective, not just taking the card.
I wouldn't hate to see Adam just fire off the Spell Pierce. Yes, Sam can pay for it, but he knows a lot of the cards that Sam would want to play in this spot would not be castable, like the Leyline in the Void, if he made him pay the cost.
Oh, how annoying. Look at that. He has Anger of the Gods.
Yeah.
2 4 toughness.
4 toughness, 4 toughness. This is really the awkward part. Anger of the Gods, great at clearing off a Fable token, great at clearing off Blood Tithe Harvester, but once this is the board state, a little mopey.
Yeah, that's another card that you can add to the list that if Sam Pardee knows about,
Yep.
makes it so much worse. It was already bad in this scenario, but...
One thing Adam does have access to here, if he draws a land, is he can Prismari command to deal 2 damage to Kalidas and make a treasure token, then use the 3 mana available to him thanks to the treasure to Anger of the Gods and at least clear that off.
Yep. Stir.
But as things stand, now Sam has full information. And
wow, and another 4 toughness creature is going to hit the battlefield.
Keep going wide.
Preacher.
I will
draw 2, discard 2, make a token.
2 and make a treasure. Okay.
Yeah, loot 2, make a treasure, and once you do that, now Anger just can't kill anything. So,
right, so we'll probably just see it discarded here. Is there a chance for double Anger? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 a land? Is that a thing?
That is a thing. If he draws it, I believe there are 2 copies in the sideboard, assuming he brought both in, which he probably did.
Okay.
Lightning Axe is the card I think he was hoping to find, which he did.
That makes
sense.
So
1 Lightning Axe found here. That's good. A second Phoenix going to the yard here from the loot. That's good, but still only 1 copy of Anger in the hand. Double Anger might just win Adam the game on the spot. I don't know if Sam really comes back from that. Of course, we see the hand. There is a Vein Ripper there, so he could just drop that down if he finds a land, but it's a huge blow for Sam if Double Anger comes out here.
Okay, well, we don't know if he found it, but he discarded Phoenix and then the Spell Pierce that Sam wasn't going to let him have no matter what.
I don't think he has it.
He also would need a land.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
Lightning Axe, discarding a Pyromancer to kill Cletus. And then I will...
What else you got?
Hard impulse. Okay.
Nice.
All right. All right.
So he gets 2 of the 3 creatures this way?
He gets 2 other creatures, and he gets 2 Phoenixes back.
Okay, that was a very good
Kalidas
turn
is off
for
the
Adam.
board.
And how many
He
cards does that leave you
probably
with?
has to play defense with both of them to incentivize Sam not to attack.
And then I'll attack.
Oh, cancel
no,
that
he is
order,
not
Monty.
about it. Okay.
And a fatal push is going to kill one, but it will just go to the yard this time, right?
Just goes to the yard. Yep.
I just couldn't remember if if the anger still counted, but apparently no.
I believe not.
Yeah. I think it's in the yard, so there you go. Oh yeah, it is.
Anger is only if a creature is dealt damage this way, so not a lingering effect.
So really nice for Adam then.
Yep.
Although it is interesting to see him
Land?
take this aggressive stance.
Okay, Sam did draw Thoughtseize plus Duress. Would have loved the land to play Vein Ripper, but Duressing to clear the way. Now he can go Leyline if he wants, or Fable.
That's funny.
Yep.
You didn't go activate Hive, so I'm done with my turn. After
Yeah, Adam said once you didn't activate Hive, I knew something bad was going to happen.
Yeah, because there's
away
a Phoenix
Fable.
in the yard, but with no hand, you're not bringing that back unless this is Treasure Cruise.
Right, it's very difficult to chain together 3 spells from nothing without something to get you more than one.
Yeah.
You technically can, you know, you can opt into thing, but
Yeah.
it's very rare.
And, you know, this Treasure Cruise is an interesting card in Pioneer because it has gotten steadily better and better over time. When the format was first introduced and there were no fetch lands in the format, there was really a big question of, can you play these expensive delve spells? Can you ever make them economical enough? And Phoenix has always been there, you know, but over time when we've gotten cards like Ledger Shredder and then Free the Fae has joined the mix, these Treasure Cruises have gotten better and better, and that's what's pushed Phoenix back to the top of the format, given enough time.
Sam Pardee trying to even things up against Adam. Adam Edelson sitting at 11-1. He's actually playing for top 8 right now.
11 and I make a treasure.
But Sam seems to be pushing further forward. It does feel, though, like Adam is a top deck Treasure Cruise away from being able to get that other Phoenix on board and perhaps take this thing back, though. There's the Vein Ripper. Not a bad blocker either. There's Brazen Bar hitting the battlefield on end step there.
Treasure Cruise?
Edelson Cruise would be really
nice. A lot of stuff.
Sam Pardee taking our job from us a little there. Looks like it's going to have to be a lot of stuff, and it wasn't. So we're going to get a game 3 between these two. Again, if you make it to 12 wins, this is before the penultimate round, you do make the top 8 immediately, meaning that Adam is playing for it right now. Looks like he's on a mulligan to 6, and Sam Pardee, if he can win this, would need to win one more, and then he can make top 8.
Absolutely, and it's a great start for Pardee because Sam, pretty decent hand, but Adam, pretty decent hand, but Sam had the Leyline on turn 0, and then a Thoughtseize to lead things off. Get a look at this hand. If there was something like a Brazen Borrower or this Crackling Drake, he could take it if he doesn't have an answer to it, but it's a long ways away. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sam just take the Free the Fae. That is the card that is the biggest fueler for cards like Treasure Cruise in this deck.
Yeah. Really impressive, that card.
And of course, with the Leyline of the Void, you're not really worried about that happening. That opt should also be exiled here.
Assuming. I think the Brazen Bar was just a one of in the board as well.
Yeah, you don't have that many of those.
Yeah, so he had that before.
No, okay. Yeah, sorry.
And that's Fatal Push to kill the Shredder, so all 3 of those are exiled. No Phoenixes, but no answer just yet for the Leyline.
Yep. Okay. Adam is going to have a real hard time.
There's a Phoenix going into his hand.
That's a hard cast in a few turns if Adam has the lands.
Yep. And a Consider.
Yep. Nope.
And he doesn't want Lightning Axe.
And as long as this Leyline is in play, Treasure Cruise is a blank card. We're not getting there anytime soon.
Right.
But Sam, no third land.
No third land and no pressure.
For either player.
This happens all the time. You know, Leyline almost means you don't get to have pressure.
Oh,
and there's a Brazen Borrower,
he found the one of. Okay.
Interesting.
And there's a Free the Fae. So Treasure Cruise back on the menu potentially.
And what does he have, 2 of them in hand?
He has 2 of them in hand, still no cards in the graveyard.
That's right. And he's going to lose something here.
Free the Fae, certainly, right?
Okay.
Maybe Adam will offer the Arclight Phoenix. You want to take this one?
Yeah, Phoenix looks like a good target. It's the only red card. Just do that.
Did I hear you say Phoenix? I'll just put it in the yard. Don't worry, it's fine.
All right, Free the Fae / Picklock Prankster is going to go into the actual graveyard this time.
Still no third land for Sam, and
no third land for Adam as well. So we've got a reactive strategy from Adam And Sam the same. Okay, this could help.
Yep. Adam found one of those spell pierces, and now has a counter spell. Oh my goodness. It is really
game.
Yeah, exactly. These high pressure situations sometimes end up here.
Yeah, the spell pierce though is going to come in very handy for this Fabled and Mirror Breaker, as Sam did hit his third land there and was looking to really push his advantage. As it stands, he's going to have to settle for chipping in with the now dead Blood Tithe Harvester. Looks like I spoke a little too soon. Fire Impulse to take that down. Now there's no creatures on board. Again, 3 lands for Pardee, 2 lands for Edelson. Oh, but another threat with Blood Tithe Harvester for Sam Pardee. He's got 2 blood tokens as well that he can start using if he'd like. He's going to pass the turn back. Can Adam please find a 3rd land? It's been multiple turns.
Yeah, and he would love to with that Brazen Bar sitting in the adventure zone. If nothing else, at least start attacking for 3, but he drew another Phoenix instead.
Oh, terrible.
Does he have a Lightning Axe to discard a Phoenix to kill this Harvester? Doesn't seem like it.
He passed the turn back, and Sam gets a smash. Once again, there's land number 4, and that means that the Leyline of the Void
3 Phoenixes in hand,
is
Marshall.
back up. Oh, are you serious? Okay, there's a land at least.
All right, Borrower online, that's 3 power.
And Sam Pardee's at 12, but so is Adam.
And there's
and
a Mutavault and a
gets to be
Hive.
the first one to attack here, and he has a Mutavault.
I think if Sam finds a 5th land here and can just go Animate Hive, that's 6 power, and you exile a card from the graveyard. That would be a pretty quick clock.
Okay, he's going to have to settle for 5 power. Mutavault plus Blood Tithe Harvester is going to knock Edelson down to 7 life. Is there any follow-up here for Pardee? He's thinking.
I don't. Edelson's eyeing that Borrower
Thoughtseize?
maybe a little quickly, but
Would Thoughtseize change anything?
it puts him lower on health.
10, yeah. He's just going to play a tapped Blackleaf Cliffs and pass. That's going to bring out Brazen Borrower for Edelson on end step, and he just shakes his head. This is weird. It just feels like he's been so close. He's got to consider now.
He needed untapped land there. He needed to be able to play a Phoenix and threaten lethal.
Yeah, he
but
really did.
now it's impossible. Well, impossible to threaten that line of lethal. And look at this hand. 2 Treasure Cruises, Crackling Drake, 3 Phoenixes still.
And he can't cast a Treasure Cruise. He was so close there because Sam would have needed something to interact, or he still would have been able to put up a 2-turn lethal clock, and Sam doesn't have that to return the favor. Sam's really close as well. He can actually attack for 6, but Edelson's at 7.
Sam has 2 Fatal Pushes. I think he wants to leave those up. I think you attack for 5 with a Mutavault. Oh, okay. All right. He's just going to say no risk whatsoever. Oh, okay.
Oh, because he's got the Vein Ripper. That's going to come down. Not a bad blocker either, by the way. 6/5 with flying. Is Sam going to even things up?
Shake of the head from Sam.
Both of these players at 11 and 2. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
We
2
see
Fatal
Crackling
Pushes.
Drake, but he's just going to show him I've got Fatal Pushes plus blood tokens, and I can just kill that and then kill you. Sam Pardee moves 1 step closer. No top 8 just yet for either player, but they're both going to be in the similar position next round where Edwin will put them in.
So you're saying we are officially 1 round away from potentially party time.
Yeah, that's
been a while
right.
since we said that one. But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, what a run for both of these players here. Great stuff. That was kind of the core of this tournament here, right? The old guard, right? A classic deck like Phoenix or Lotus Field, and he's playing up against the new one.
Yeah, ultimately, bit of a struggle for both players in that 3rd game. And I think really seeing the lower curve that Sam has available to him, alongside just once Leyline of the Void is out, things getting a little awkward for the Phoenix deck, compounds into that win. And it's really important putting yourself 1 win away.
Yeah. Mulligan to 6 and missed land drops didn't help either for Adam. Okay, we're going to head over to the news desk where Maria and Cedric are going to set us up for our next round.
2 players at 8 and 4 coming up next, battling to stay alive. Kevin Thanakit versus Jose Hilario.
Boros Heroic is looking to make one of their creatures incredibly difficult to deal with and cross the finish line, while Izzet Ensoul is looking to make one of these artifacts into a 5/5 and cut the games over.
Yes, will the scissors cut down the Boros Legion? Find out after this.
And welcome back to coverage here at Pro Tour Murders at Karlov Manor. Marshall Sutcliffe with Mani Davuti, and we are in the Pioneer section here. We're already starting to talk top 8. It's happening where some of the players are actually playing for their chance at the top 8. We, in fact, our prior round was exactly that, and we're going to have more of that coming up. This round, though, it's the other end of the spectrum. These players are playing to stave off likely elimination. You know, things can get a little bit weird late in the day, but these players are 8-4, and a 5th loss is usually the death knell for your chance, at least for a top 8.
Yeah, elimination here doesn't mean eliminated from the tournament. Still plenty to play for. Getting to 10 wins brings you back for the next Pro Tour, which is a huge deal. But top 8 being out of the picture, that in and of itself is also a huge deal. So at 8-5, those hopes are done. You're not really thinking about that anymore. But with 4 losses, you're still very much in the conversation, and that's where these two are right now, trying to stay in that conversation.
Kind of an interesting matchup here as well. Two very assertive decks going at it here as we ease our way into game number 1. Kevin's got Boros Heroic, the one that rewards you for targeting your creatures, and the other deck in the hands of Jose is Ensoul Artifact, Izzet. So both decks really trying to get each other dead about as soon as possible.
Yeah, there's a clump of aggressive creature decks that we have in the middle of our metagame that includes Boros Heroic, Izzet Ensoul, and Boros Convoke. All of these sort of fall within the same space of archetypal data and strategy, and it's really about trying to kill your opponent as quickly as possible. Typically, I believe Heroic is just a tiny bit faster in the matchup, but also play draw can of course shift that. So Hilario starting on the play this game, that is already a boost. Now, counteracting that boost, no Ensoul Artifact on turn 2. So suddenly you're slower, and Kevin had the best start for the Heroic deck. Turn 1 Favorite Hoplite.
Favorite Hoplite for Kevin started things off. Jose started off with the 1-2 though. Combat Courier right into the copter.
And this is Ancestral Anger starting things off on the Favorite Hoplite, already drawing a card, putting that counter on. And Hoplite, unlike Swiftspear, the other 1-drop that this deck really favors, it gets counters when you trigger that Heroic. So it is incredibly powerful for staying strong on the board.
Wow, and there's another one as well. So down to 17 falls Jose, and all of a sudden, double Favorite Hoplite. Yikes. That's scary.
There's not much interaction in these decks, but for Jose, the interaction is damage-based, right? We have Shrapnel Blast, we have Torch to the Tower. As soon as you get out of the range of those, Jose's not able to do anything about the Hoplite board situation. And yes, he has the ability to burst. You can go Gleeful Demolition here into the Bushwhacker. That's the big combo.
So we'll see if the window closes quickly on Jose to try to get rid of these threats on the other side. In the meantime, Smuggler's Copter is going to get lit up here.
No Bushwhacker.
Yeah.
We've talked before about how this Izzet Ensoul deck, when it works, it's incredibly powerful, but you are playing a few different combos, right? You're playing Bushwhacker plus Demolition, you're playing Ensoul plus the Artifact. If you draw the wrong half of some of these combos together, well, you just put 3 goblins on the board and crew to the copter. That's not an impressive line. Jose having that Torch to the Tower, dealing with one of the Hoplites is nice. Of course, one of the Hoplites staying alive means that if this one can get out of that Shrapnel Blast range, that's going to be a problem.
It's already got 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Picked up another one this turn. The Defiant Strike, adding that.
With the existence
there's a land drop as well.
Monstrous Rage and Ancestral Anger. That means chump blockers not really a thing for this Boros, for this Izzet Ensoul deck. Trample is going to be a very common keyword available on this Hoplite.
This is multiple hits, though, from a Smuggler's Copter. That really does start to add up, not just damage-wise, but also card selection.
Especially in a deck where you have Shrapnel Blast available to you. 4 copies means that Kevin could be at an essential 7 here.
Right.
Could be at an essential 2 here. If Jose just goes end of turn, Shrapnel Blast you, untap, Copter you for 3, Shrapnel Blast you, the game ends.
That's it.
And that is something that this is an Ensoul deck is capable of doing, which is part of what makes it so terrifying.
Right, and normally you'd think, okay, but what are the chances there? Remember, this Smuggler's Copter has been activated multiple times. Like, you can actually craft a hand like that.
Yeah, right now Jose only has 1 card left in hand, so it is, if you're in Kevin's seat, a little unlikely, but not overly unlikely.
Monstrous Rage now from Kevin.
Yeah, I think
Now
Jose...
give Trample, that is just huge.
Yeah, Jose was hoping to be able to go block, sacrifice this Combat Courier, draw a card, not take any damage. Monstrous Rage says, no.
No, none of that nonsense.
That's not happening here.
That's 7 power, yeah. It is 2 plus 5, 7, correct.
7 power, wow.
Marshall,
who needs Shrapnel Blast?
That is a Shrapnel Blast in Jose's hand. That
is
card.
It really?
That card, I believe, I just got a very brief glimpse of it.
I trust you, Monty.
So, Shrapnel Blast to the face, sacrifice this Courier. If Jose doesn't die here, oof. Shrapnel Blast you.
He's going to take the full amount from the Hoplite, but going upstairs, Jose perhaps sensing that his best chance to win is to draw another Shrapnel Blast. He'll have a top deck plus potentially a Smuggler's Copter loot to try to find it. And let's just not forget that Kevin's life total is getting very low, and there's just a bunch of creatures on the battlefield too.
Any creature, if you can just crew the Copter with
That's
something
7.
that isn't on board, that's 7 right there.
Does Kevin have any way to interact here? I mean, in his deck? I don't mean even in his hand.
Reckless Rage is a card that this deck has access to as its removal spell. There's 4 copies, so certainly the interaction exists if Kevin has it.
There are 2 copies of Combat Courier in the graveyard as well, Monty.
Ooh, so could just unearth and use that. The only question really remaining is, does Kevin have a Reckless Rage, or is the game just over here?
Yeah, because if you're Jose, you see, okay, I can make that play.
Unearth.
The question also is just like, if it doesn't work, do I just lose? Do you assume that the Hoplite would kill you? It's not lethal on its own right now.
I think it's safe to assume. Oh, okay.
Oh, hold on a second. Pump the brakes, says Kevin. I may have something to do. And Kevin needs something to do. This is lethal. Yeah,
needs something to do. I didn't see it. I think he's
everything
bluffing.
can come in. Scoop him up.
I think it's a bluff. I see lands. Land.
Land.
I think the last card is a land as well.
I think he's just dead.
Count it
Yeah, I
up.
don't like the count.
7 damage, 3 lands shown.
And he just shows him the lands, and that's going to be game number 1 going to Jose Hilario. Oh boy, that's how these games are going to go. And poor Kevin, all he can do is just dig through the top of the library saying, I would have found something at some point maybe. That's really tough.
Any second now, just looking. Shrapnel Blast, Marshall, that is a big chunk of damage.
Out of nowhere. So Jose picks up game number 1. He's going to torch the tower though to kill the favorite Hoplite. That's a sigh of relief from Jose. That's before the train gets rolling at all.
Yeah, none of that nonsense.
Okay, but he's got a Legionnaire. Yeah, to start slamming. That one actually has haste, so.
And
and another torch. Now, there is no forward momentum yet for Jose, but you know, if you can kill all the threats, you can sometimes strand a bunch of combat tricks in hand.
Yep.
For heroic.
Yesterday, we saw Simon Nielsen having to fire off Defiance Strikes on his opponent's creatures in order to draw cards.
Not where you
because
want to be.
He didn't have the creature to do so.
There's another favorite Hoplite, however. So 3rd threat on the board here for Kevin. Does Jose have yet another answer, or can he maybe start getting his own game plan going?
Ooh.
What did he do? Oh, was that Gigantha in hand?
Picked up his Gigantha.
What?
Marsh, that's not a great place to be.
That is exactly what Kevin wants to see. Tap 3 mana. Oh no. Pick up Gigantha. Oh yeah. Do that again.
Illuminator Virtuoso, the play for Kevin here.
Land number 4 now for Jose. Is that a volley?
Yeah, rending volley going after the Virtuoso.
Okay.
Kevin, without that much pressure, doesn't really want to be casting spells on the Hoplite here. Would have loved to start conniving with the Virtuoso, but Jose is not about that. Just saying that, hey, if you're just attacking me for 1, I'm pretty okay with how this game is going. My removal spells are paying off.
They really are. That's 3 of them for 3 threats on the other side. It still, however, leaves 1 threat standing for Kevin.
Yeah, this is the trade-off. When you bring in extra removal spells, you are slowing down your game plan. You're making it so you don't have those explosive starts. And look at this, Kevin is still at 18. So the game plan really not progressing for Jose. He's just trying to survive, and Kevin really only needs 1 creature, Marshall.
That's right. There's a Defiant Strike, though. And that's going to get the Hoplite a counter. Plus a card in the hand there for Kevin. Plays as many of those 1-mana cantripping target my creature effects as possible. Oh, there's the Monstrous Rage, and this is no blocks. This is just, I'm going for it.
Yeah. Look, it's a lot of damage coming out here.
7?
Yeah, every time he casts it, it feels like it goes up to 7. Huge hits. This is kind of like his version of Shrapnel Blast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 7. You're 7. Yeah, 7 because the difference, right?
Jose's life is halfway gone.
Good time.
Down to 10.
Sure. Go ahead.
This is very much all eggs in the basket here.
All right. 2.
I mean, to be fair, Kevin did put 3 other baskets on the battlefield. And he just lit on fire and put it in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Jose thinking about what he wants to do.
Just doing the math. This is a big threat.
Yeah. Jose has yet to put a threat out. He just has the Voldaren Epicure sitting there. A whole 1 power with his opponent at 18. Can he get things moving forward?
Also has a Den of the Bugbear, but the cost of spinning that up to attack with it is your entire turn. It's not really racing. I think I see a Shrapnel Blast in hand for Jose. This game very different from the last one in terms of what Shrapnel Blast is offering for you.
Looks like he had Gleeful Detonation there. So his board state grew. And there's the Shrapnel Blast. He's going for it. Sacrifice the blood token.
Hoping
Is
Kevin
there
has
anywhere
nothing.
for Kevin a way to protect it?
Any spell. Jose is saying, don't have any spell, please.
Can he just have nothing?
I don't believe that, no.
Okay, he's tapping his mana, so this doesn't look good now for Jose.
All right.
Oh, and he has another Defiant Strike.
Okay.
Target. Did you trigger? Trigger. Okay. In response to the trigger.
Oh, there's a response.
Oof.
Wow,
Yeah.
he had another Shrapnel Blast, and hiding in his
Game
lands
on.
a Darksteel Citadel. Okay, now we're rolling. So now Kevin is forced to try to find another threat, but he really had put all his resources into that one.
Gigantha
And he's going
time.
to put the Wellspring in his hand. And we might actually see that from Jose here as well. He's got 5 mana if he doesn't have anything else to do. Oh, he might fire up the den and try to just get maximum pressure rolling.
So if you fire up the Den, that hits for 8. Kevin goes down to 8. But you can't attack for lethal through a Gigantha the next turn. The thing is, Kevin's not guaranteed to have the 5th land for the Gigantha the next turn. So I like the line that gives you a 2-turn lethal here.
Wow, what a quick turnaround there for Jose.
I see a Swift Spear. I see Gigantha, and I see a God's Willing. So Swift Spear, pass.
Swift Sphere pass. Never, ever where you want to be. That's a huge sign there from Jose that he is very much in control of this game. How can he close it out the fastest?
Jose knows that Kevin's hand is Gigantha 1 card, so just spin it up again, attack with everything. Kevin's forced to pluck Den of the Bugbear, Let's say he has a protection spell, which he does. He uses it. Okay, Den dies. Swift Spear lives. Kevin is down to 2 life and left with a Swift Spear with a 1/2 and a Gigantha in hand, facing down 10 life.
So he has to somehow use this Monastery Swift Spear, which will start the turn on 1 power to get to 10.
Yep, you get a Scry.
Good luck.
You could go Ancestral Anger into Ancestral Anger into Ancestral Anger.
Yep.
They do compound.
I think he's used up 2 Defiant Strikes so far.
Yep.
So any combination of strikes and angers could get him there.
That was a Scry to the bottom.
But it's going to have to start off with cantripping.
Nope.
Yeah, and he doesn't have it. He's going to have to just put his cards down, extend the hand. And unfortunately for Kevin there, that probably knocks him out of top 8 contention. As you mentioned, still very much to play for here. But, you know, that's kind of, a little bit of a gut punch there. But Jose still very much in it. He needs to keep winning. He needs to keep putting together wins with this particular deck. He's done a good job of it this week, and he needs to do it if he wants to make the top 8.
Yeah, I think yesterday you and I saw Jose play, and he lost his first round of Pioneer, and we said that he could come back from that. He has the mental
We
capability.
predicted this.
Yeah. He came back to 7-1 overnight, started today off with an 0-3 in draft, and was a 7-4. Now, has picked up 2 wins in Pioneer, so the mental, very strong, keeping at it, keeping his top 8 dreams alive. You know, 8-4, 9-4, you're still in it. It's not over.
Really good. Great stuff. We'll keep an eye on him and, of course, the rest of the match. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we'll be back at the news desk with Maria. Don't go anywhere.